Welcome back to Fast Market here on the Schwab Network. It's time for our cash tag segment. For that, let's bring in our next guest. That's Andy Swan, co-founder at Likefolio. Welcome back to the show, Andy.
Hey, thank you.
All right, so we're talking Affirm. Buy now, pay later. It's here to stay. Is Affirm still one of the leaders, according to your data, in this segment, Andy?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Affirm has a lot going for it. It's got a tailwind in terms of the buy now, pay later phenomenon that continues to grow. I think, you said it best. It's here to stay. We weren't sure about that a couple years ago. It seemed like an interesting idea that may not have been needed, but when you look at the way it breaks down generationally, millennials, even Gen Z, really adopting this, preferring it a lot of times to traditional credit card type of payment solutions. They really like the structured payments on the things that they buy, and seeing that visibility well into the future on everything that they're going to have to pay. And so Affirm has done a phenomenal job of capturing this tailwind. I would say it's clearly the leader among the buy now, pay later companies. If you look at the growth in web traffic, which is very indicative of demand for their services, Affirm is leading everyone else at plus 30% year over year growth rate. And so it's the best at capturing the tailwind in its category. And I think that they have the best CEO. The co-founder of PayPal is the one leading the charge. So someone that really, really understands e-commerce, understands transaction volume driving revenues and leading the way to profits. And he said that it's more transactions are going to be what gets us to profitability. And the company looks very much on pace to accomplish that, because they are outrunning all of the competitors in their field and providing a service that most of their customers tend to like and tend to repeat with over and over again. So overall, a really nice company. I've loved the way the stock has reacted in the last 3 months. It was a blowout earnings call last quarter, and I think we could be setting up for another one as we head into the remainder of this year.
Yeah, Andy, they've had a lot of blowout earnings. I mean, they've beat on earnings consistently across the board. And I get why consumers want to use this, right? It's basically no interest payments for them. You're just paying off where the fees are kind of reversed to the seller. The question for me is, I get why consumers want to use this. Are the sellers signing up to do this? Are you seeing any traffic in your data where it's getting more popular from the selling perspective? Because they seem to, after being, bad-mouthed and almost thrown and left for dead, they seem to be having a pretty solid comeback here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the best indicator of that is that they've established a partnership with Apple Pay, which in my mind means they're here to stay.
Sure.
Apple doesn't usually partner with companies that that vendors don't like. And so I think Affirm is putting itself into a situation for vendors where, whether you like their fees or don't like their fees, they're becoming a little bit of table stakes, which is a really powerful place to be, where if you don't have buy now, pay later options on your website, on your checkout form, you might lose that customer and get an abandoned shopping cart, and they go to your competitor who does have the buy now, pay later option, and Affirm makes that integration extremely easy. So I don't think that the vendors have as much of a choice as we might like to think in terms of whether or not they're going to use a buy now, pay later solution. And if they decide they are, which I think they will, it's most likely going to be Affirm.
You look at that one chart that you have, the pie chart, Andy. I thought that was pretty interesting as far as e-commerce payment method. Adobe Analytics said we're going to see e-commerce sales during the holiday shopping season rise 8.4%. But this is all about GMV for this company. And buy now, pay later, you've got right there 5% only. That seems really low. So that TAM, or total addressable market for this space, is massive, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, and what's really crazy about this chart for me is if you look at buy now, pay later at 5%, bank transfer at 7%, That means if they can get people to be as excited about, buy now, pay later services as they are about putting their actual banking information into the checkout process, that's 40% growth for this industry, which is incredible to see. And that doesn't even start touching debit card, credit card, and so on. So there's plenty of space for buy now, pay later to grow. And Affirm being the leader of the pack puts them in a really, really good spot as we head into 2025.
Yeah, and I think you better be ready because Walmart's saying that you can pay directly from your checking or savings account at checkout. So, I mean, that's big for these credit card companies. I mean, that's going to be massive if they lose any share there as far as swipes at Walmart.
Yeah, the swipes is where Walmart gets their data. Yeah. And think about the millions and millions of swipes they get. And if they cut into that, which is, let's face it, it's the natural evolution of this business. They're going to start cutting out the middleman. Visa and MasterCard, as much as we love them, they serve no purpose if you can set it up yourself. Yeah. And these big companies can set it up themselves.
Yeah. Or use a cheaper fee, which is a lot lower than the swipe fees of 1.5 to 3.5 that the credit cards charge right now.
Yeah.
Buy now, pay later is cheaper. All right, great stuff. Great data as always, Andy. Appreciate it.